contest is scheduled for one fall. Making their way to the ring.
Live from the AfterBuzz TV studios, it's Making Their Way to the Ring with Lilian Garcia.
Well, woo, hello. Welcome to Making Their Way to the Ring. I am Lilian Garcia. You can catch me at Lilian Garcia on Twitter, on Instagram, Lilian Garcia official fan page on my Facebook page. And let's see, anywhere else, LilianGarcia.com, I don't know. You guys can catch me anywhere on the street if you want. Just tackle me down and say hello. Actually, I love meeting people. So sometimes people have said, oh, I saw you, but I didn't want to say hi. And I'm like, just say hi. Really, I don't bite. I love it. So just always stop me. All right, in the studio with me, he is now officially part of the team. He is, former TMZ senior producer and now editor-in-chief of ProWrestlingSheet.com, Ryan Satin. Hi, Ryan.
Hello. Glad to be here. I'm excited. Like you said, I'm officially part of the team now. It feels good.
Ryan, you can look at me.
Oh, I thought we were supposed to look at that one.
No.
Oh,
not yet.
Okay. See, I'm still getting the hang of everything here.
Yeah, you are.
So
yeah,
that's
it's
what
okay.
You're talking to Christy. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you know. It's okay, dude. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. It's been a long week. I had a loss in the family, but
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. But he was like we were talking before. He's very old. He was 94. So
your grandfather.
My grandfather,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
And so it's been a long week. I mean, it was interesting because of it happened right after the show that we did last week where we talked all about suffering through loss, and a lot of that stuff really did help me. I hope it helped others.
Yeah, it's wild when you actually text me afterwards and you're like, wow, the timing of this, hearing, what we went through on the show, talking about it, and you said to me, it actually has helped me handle this. And I was like, wow, that's really good. And that's exactly why this show, to me, is so important, right? Is that we can help people along the way.
Absolutely. I mean, I had mentioned about how my sister and I don't talk as much with all my sisters as I would like, and
Yeah, how did it go with that? Because I remember encouraging that.
Because you encouraged that, and so, my parents are divorced, so this was only one of my sister's grandfathers, but the other two were very much, they reached out to me, and we talked and stuff, and I definitely told one of them who I wish I had a closer relationship with that it's much more me, it's not a her thing, that it's a me thing, and that I hope that she kind of helps with that and kind of reaches out to me more, and that it's something that I need to work on, and she very much I promise, I'll be out there in a few weeks, and we'll hang out, and blah, blah, blah.
Good.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of that stuff helped, and the part that I was most bummed about, after we talked, I was like, I should tell my sister that that she should film more stuff with my grandpa, like you had mentioned, Maria did. And I was like, I should really take that in. And then it was only a few days after the show came out that everything happened. And so, I made a video for the service of, old pictures and stuff like that. And I was bummed because there wasn't a lot of video of my grandpa. And I did the exact same thing with my grandpa that I said I wasn't going to do with my, after my brother passed away. Right. But, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I'm sure you had the same thing with when your dad passed, but looking at pictures from the 30s or 40s and 50s, it's crazy that these things exist, I know. It's nuts.
There's a baby picture of my dad.
Really?
A little baby picture of my dad from, he was born in 1929.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
That was like my grandpa. There was ones where he was so young, and it was from the early 20s, and I'm like, this is nuts to see.
We only think it's now that we've all modern technology, right?
Yeah.
No, they had photos. I mean, it was black and white.
But still, I'm not going to lie.
It.
A lot of those black and white photos, they're very small, a lot of those ones.
Yeah.
When I put them into the computer, I had to scan them in.
Yeah.
They came out great, the quality-wise.
Right.
They're these big, huge black and white pictures. And
yeah.
The ones from the 90s don't even look as good as those ones do. But it blows my mind that people that have lived that long are able to keep something that small for so long.
And paper, right? Yeah.
Because especially us with phones, we're we've run out of space on our phone. I'm going to go delete all my pictures. And with back then, there's so many of those things. I feel like our children and generations to come, they're not going to have that joy when someone, not joy, but that feeling of when someone passes away of going through all those old pictures and seeing that.
And that's it helped me so much. And even my dad, I actually saved messages of him when he called me. And I remember when he was, going through all the whole illness, I said, I'm going to keep this. One day I'll be happy. And sure enough, I mean, I didn't hear it, listen to it till last week. Mm-hmm. And then I listened to 4 messages, and then I had to turn it off because I just started bawling. Like it made me fall apart because I miss his voice. I miss, and it made me realize how much I miss him. So I'm not ready yet, but I'm glad that they're there.
No, I do the same thing. I have a bunch with my brother. I saved all of our text messages. I was able to pull them all off my phone and save it into a document to where I can just go read, and I'd never deleted it. So it was like months and months and months and months of text messages.
It feels like there's still a connection.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like still a connection.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank all the people that actually wrote in using Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and that you guys were sharing that the show really did help you in dealing with loss. And it was a tough show to do, but it was a show that we felt was very, very important to do. So if you guys missed it, you can catch it, and you can catch it where you can catch this, and that is iTunes. Make sure that you put in Making Their Way to the Ring or my name, and the show will pop up. Or you can go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV and catch us there, where you can actually see the show. You see the studio, you see our faces. And let's talk about the guests today that you're going to see.
I'm so excited for this one.
Oh, my God, me too.
I know that you asked for questions beforehand, so I'm sure there's a bunch of good ones that you got in there. You guys are going to dig deep, I have a feeling.
We are digging deep. Okay, so I'm going to be conducting this interview with Kurt Angle. Now, he doesn't even need an introduction, but sometimes people forget, or they don't remember the accomplishments, right? I mean, he's had something like 13 world championships. 13. He has had over 20 titles entirely, championships.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Total championships. I can't even say it. Like, it's so crazy how many. This is a guy that has conquered the world of WWE, conquered the world of TNA, Olympic gold medalist with a broken neck. I'm going to talk to him about that. I mean, really, what's the mentality that you go have when you know you have a broken neck going into the Olympics and having to, you're not just having one match when you go to the Olympics, right? You have to qualify. And
so
many. And then all of a sudden he's on top and wins the picture of him when he won, and at the podium you could see like him with the flag. There's a picture that we have with him holding this flag that is unbelievable.
It's an iconic photo. Yeah, I know. Right? I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and I know we have it here. If we can bring that up, just because it's so inspiring to see like his face, like everything that he went through. With that, you can see the anguish of, I did it.
I couldn't even imagine that. As a guy who, I wrestled in high school for a year, and I couldn't imagine making it to that level. I mean, the time and dedication that you have to put in to even making it to the Olympics is insane. And then to go from qualifying to actually winning, and with a broken neck, like that. I can't wait to hear that part of the interview, but mainly because I was a high school wrestler. But I can't wait to hear the transition from wrestling to WWE. I mean, I know he's done interviews in the past, but I know I like hearing how you're good at getting like the deep down details of them. So I'm excited to hear what it was like, because he had such a fast transition to wrestling, and from training to winning the title. I mean, it's crazy.
It is. Here's a picture that I was referring to.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
I mean, come on. You look at that and you see it. Like, the years of training, the years of sacrificing. And there is actually another gentleman that I've done some work with. And he was a gymnast as well. And he talked about how to be successful, while everybody else was out on the weekends partying or this and that, he was committed. He was not partying. He was not drinking. He wasn't doing any of that. And I think about when, I actually got in my first band when I was 14. Mm-hmm. So I remember that in the bands, the weekends was when we did the gig, right?
Work, yeah.
Every Friday and Saturday. So I didn't grow up in high school or anything, or even middle school. I mean, my mom chaperoned, but I didn't go out over the weekends. I didn't do any of that. I was performing, but I look back and I go, I would do it all over again. Like, I just loved it. It was a passion. And I think that it has to be a passion to be able to commit.
I agree 100% on that one. I mean, you have to do that. I mean, that's honestly why I enjoy watching Olympics so much, is because
isn't it awesome?
Yeah, because I mean, you take it for granted with things like basketball, baseball, football, and stuff like that, because it's such a big thing and you see it all the time.
Right.
But those unsung sports heroes that are like, that are just so what's the word? They're so inspiring when they've done so much to try and achieve their dream, and it maybe isn't like everyone's dream, pole vaulting or running and things like that. But when they do it and just their decades of work pays off. It's like, it makes me want to cry sometimes when I watch it. It's
absolutely.
It's so inspiring when you see them do it.
I've always ordered the video afterwards. You know how they say the highlights or whatever? Because anytime that I'm down, anytime that I need a push or anything like that, it's kind of like, hey, watch that. And all of a sudden you just really get inspired to get your life together, right?
It's like the reason I watch Shark Tank every week, because
I love Shark Tank.
It's the only show that kind of makes me get teary-eyed once in a while. Because when you see someone who this is their dream and they're for their family and they're doing all, and then they get that deal.
I've mortgaged my home.
Yeah. And they're like, I've been sleeping on a couch for a year with my daughter because we feel like this is going to do it. And then one of those sharks gives them a deal and you're like, that's going to change their life. I love that show.
But, with Kurt, it's not only what he's sacrificing. We've talked about that with the Olympics, but which, by the way, I have to tell him, I was actually performing at the '96 Olympics
when
he was there. I didn't realize it was the same Olympics. I never looked at the year.
What were you doing there? What were performing
I was performing that night. They had called me with my band,
and
I was
so cool.
and I was performing at the Olympics when he won the Olympics that year.
How did you not bring? You better bring that up. You got to bring that up.
No, I will definitely tell him. But all these years of being backstage with him and talking to him about this and that or whatever, and it never dawned on me,
You've never brought that up to him?
Because it didn't dawn on me till I started doing all the research. And wait, 96, those Olympics. Wait a minute. Oh my God, Atlanta.
That's Atlanta, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, was that when there was a bombing?
Yeah, there was a bomb.
Were you there?
I had just left.
Not a bombing, a bomb.
A bomb that went off at Centennial Park. I had just left 20 minutes before.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
No, it's crazy. And by the time I got to the hotel, it was all of the screens, and in the when we walk in, there was a ton of TV screens that they literally put up in the lobby for the Olympics. And we got in there, and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I watching right now? And they're like, yeah, it's Centennial Park. I'm like, what? I just left there.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
it's crazy. So I want to definitely touch on that with him. But it's also, you see him, he was so committed and so disciplined, right? And then something happened with the WWE, with the broken necks, 5 times broken neck.
Yeah.
And then he got addicted to, as we were saying, to pills and painkillers, and
which is like a full epidemic in general in this country. I mean, maybe not then, but it's terrible. Yeah.
But it's people that are actually starting to take it that don't even have a problem like he did. He was taking it for his neck, and some people are just doing it recreational, and then all of a sudden they get caught, and it's because of the withdrawal from it. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I know because I suffered. Look, I had to take it for my ACL. When I had my ACL knee surgery, I had to take it when I got run over by a car and was taking it for my neck and my back. And I remember when they handed it to me with my car, I'd already gone through that with my knee. I was like, oh no, I got to take these things again. Because they really, the addicting part of it is, hey, you don't feel any pain.
Yep.
But B, you don't want to come off of it because you're so depressed.
Absolutely.
So I definitely want to talk to him about that, about how he grew up with, his brothers, 4 brothers that were all wrestlers.
That's crazy.
Oh, what a thing to follow.
Family.
What a thing to follow, right?
They're probably such tough older brothers that you had to deal with. Pittsburgh, if I recall,
Pittsburgh.
right? Yeah.
These are tough guys, I'm sure.
Dudes,
yeah. So, I mean, and then being so successful, but this is what blows my mind, is that he was at TNA longer than he was at WWE.
I was mentioning to you that when we were off air last show.
10 years.
When you said you were going to interview him, because that's crazy.
That is insane. That he was actually, four more years or something 3 more years at TNA.
I mean, he really helped build TNA. I mean, I know that he wasn't there right in the beginning, but I know in my memory, when Kurt Angle got there is when things really started to pick up. His whole feud with Samoa Joe and all that kind of stuff. And he was one of the main focal points of TNA for a very long time. And I really, really hope that. And I don't think it will because of the way WWE has been the past few years. But I hope that doesn't cause him to not be allowed back in WWE because man, he needs a few more matches in WWE. I'm not gonna say one more match. He needs a few more matches in WWE.
Yeah. I would love to see him end there.
Yeah,
I really would.
I want to see him there so.
Could you imagine if he comes through the curtain? People will just go out of their skin. But this is why too, because I think that people, I've gotten to know him one-on-one. You've necessarily not gotten to know him, right? But do you see what a great guy this guy is? How
Absolutely.
Nice he is?
Yes.
He just exudes, just love,
Yep.
pure love.
And he loves the business, you know.
Right, he respects it.
He respects it. You know, from what I hear from other podcasts, like when he goes and does indie shows, like he's actually the guy who stands the curtain and watches the whole show. And if anyone wants to ask for any advice, like he will gladly give it to them. I mean, he wants to give back, and that's why I hope he gets brought back, because, I mean, if they did it with, you know, Goldberg this year, it makes no sense not to do it with Kurt Angle next year. It's like you're throwing away money. Everybody, when that music hits,
I want to be there. I just want to be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him. I'm going to say to him, look, between you and me, if you go back, please let me know so I can make sure that I am there. I have to be there to witness that, because he's just, as amazing. Oh, my God.
I would bet money, and I have no inside info on this one, but
yeah, me neither.
I would bet money on the fact that he is like the video game guy next year, that he does the exact same mold of Brock Lesnar.
That would be so great.
I mean, I've heard in the past where he basically, you know, he said he's taking a year off or something like that, but it's like, come on, we all know he's probably trying to get in shape, get rested, be there with his family.
Maybe, yeah.
And then
go
all out
it.
for WrestleMania, you know, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, or I guess Survivor Series is where they're bringing the video game guys back. So like Survivor Series, and then hopefully WrestleMania.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I know, hopefully for sure. But I still don't know how, knowing that you've had 5 broken necks, how you can even get in the ring again.
It's crazy.
It is.
Well, if I recall, didn't his last one, like, it was okay. Like, it was okay to wrestle after his last one. Like, he
finally he's gotten cleared, but still, dude, still. I break my pinky. I'm like, I can't hold the microphone. No,
I couldn't even take up on full health. So, like, yeah, no, I totally. No,
every time I think I'm tough, I'm like, no, he's tougher. He's way tougher.
Yeah, I mean, if he can win the Olympics with a current broken neck, I think he can do 1 or 2.
Well, what do you say? Let's go ahead and go into the news, so then we can bring on the interview, because it's just too good to keep holding you guys off.
Yeah,
so,
I want to hear it happen. So yeah.
All right. So next we're going to be bringing Christy Olsen in with all the wrestling headline news.
What's up, party people? Roxy Stryer here from The Tomorrow Show with Kevin Undergaro. We're your twice-weekly broadcast of one man's midlife crisis and the mad millennials in Star Trek uniforms that follow him.
And I'm one of those millennials, Lauren LaGrasso here. We've had some amazing guests like Russell Simmons, Ileana Douglas, and Craig Gass. Coolio, right?
Christian Blatt in the house to tell you to go to thetomorrowshow.com to check us out. We're live every Monday and Thursday from 10 to midnight Eastern. That's thetomorrowshow.com. Be there or be square, whatever that means.
Welcome back. This is the Making Their Way to the Ring news. The WWE Universe is mourning the loss of a Hall of Famer today, as Jimmy Superfly Snuka passed away Sunday at the age of 73. The Rock Johnson announced his passing for the family, and Stephanie McMahon, amongst others, have expressed their condolences on Twitter. She called him one of the greatest icons in the history of our business. Hulk Hogan and Jake the Snake Roberts have also chimed in offering their condolences, but it's a photo by Tamina Snuka, Jimmy's daughter, that was posted, who has gotten the most attention. She said, "Dad, I love you, Dad," with a photo of the two of them holding hands. So our condolences go out to Jimmy Snuka's family today.
Absolutely. As you guys know, I understand losing, your father, and it's never easy. The picture, it's wild because it's, seeing them holding hands. I remember that I actually have a photo with my dad and I holding hands, and there's something very special about having that photo. And I realized as I was watching her, as I was looking at that last night, it's almost like the connection, you in your head, you feel that connection, and no matter what, it'll always be there. Now, of course, I posted it as well last night, and I reached out to Tamina, and she wrote back, and she said she's doing okay, the family's doing okay, and she appreciated me reaching out. And I want to let people know, I've had some friends that actually said to me when my father passed it, they were like, I didn't want to just throw you a tweet, a text, because I felt like maybe that wasn't good enough, but then I wanted to call, but then I didn't want to bother you, and I didn't know what to do, so I didn't reach out. And I told him, I was like, you know what? I think in this circumstance, a text says a lot. It's okay to send a text. It's okay to, I'd rather have had all the texts than all the phone calls, to be honest with you, dealing with all that. But just, sending a text saying to somebody, hey, thinking about your condolences, goes a long ways. And I know she appreciated it. And we just really want to send the best to their family.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that also Jimmy Uso last night at a WWE live event did like a tribute to Jimmy Snuka. He did the Superfly Splash during his match and kind of, did the whole pose on the top rope beforehand. And, it's a sad thing. I know that, he meant a lot to a lot of people. He was clearly one of the biggest WWF legends, from the past. I mean, he was a huge influence on a lot of people. So it was a sad day yesterday in the wrestling community.
And I know it's been a rough year. It's been a rough few years for him. And I just say now he's resting in peace and his family can move on. So we wish everybody the best.
That's right. And moving on to some happy news. Today, we have a brand new, a very first WWE UK champion. 19-year-old Tyler Bate. Yes, scored the title in a tournament that went down this weekend on the WWE Network. Triple H was there to congratulate him, as was WWE superstar Finn Balor. And there was some great moments during his speech where the crowd actually chanted at him, "You deserve it." And he said back to him, "No, you guys deserve this, the people who have supported British wrestling."
Yeah.
So this is just too funny. Also, Triple H kind of said, hey, we set out to build an empire with this tournament and this inaugural championship. We have done just that. And now I got to get to Raw.
I watched the whole entire tournament, and man, that was so entertaining. Night one obviously was introducing people to all these wrestlers you've never seen before.
Right, exactly.
But night two was awesome because you'd already been introduced to all these guys, and then it was like almost like a king of the ring of all these guys you've been introduced to. And man, that main event between Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate was epic, man. Like, that kid is 19 years old.
How does somebody at 19, think about him today. Like, right now, what's going through his mind, like, holy crap, I just became the first UK champion.
And I think they're going to try and, do a show that's a UK-based show around these guys, or at least some of them. So to know that you're going to be the face of that at 19, you have to be tripping right now.
There's some rumors that maybe it'll happen to what's similar to what happened with the Cruiserweights, and that the UK Championship will get its own show on the network.
Kudos to WWE. Talk about evolving. I mean, this company knows how to evolve, and that's the first thing I've ever learned in business. When you start a business, is you got to know how to expand your business, how to evolve, how to think about 5 years from now, how you gonna, break barriers and all. And it's crazy what's going on right now.
I was talking with this exact topic with your husband out there before we started, and it to me, it just feels like Triple H and Stephanie are putting all these chess pieces in place for when they eventually take over the company, and it's a cool look towards the future. I mean, with this British, this UK thing they're doing, and with the Cruiserweight Classic, and with things that those two are really pushing for, it's almost like you finally are starting to feel like it really is a world wrestling entertainment.
Yes.
Like it fits the name finally. They're actually trying to entertain the entire world.
And now this is going to happen in Japan. Come on, you got Japan, and you've got Australia,
Mexico.
You got Mexico.
That's what I want the most is Mexico, because there's a Lucha Libre on TV out here in California, but it's these 4-hour blocks. And it's all in Spanish, and as you know, I don't speak Spanish. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Está bien, pero tienes que aprender, de verdad.
Yeah, all my family was out for my grandpa's funeral, and they were all still disappointed I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah. Shame on you.
But honestly, if they could get like an English announce team to do a Lucha Libre style show on the WWE Network, I would love that. I would also love a Canada kind of tournament too. There's so much talent in Canada.
Yeah, I know, exactly. That's what I mean. There's just and these are fans, right? In these places, they're just like super fans. I could see one in Germany. Literally, it is endless.
And indie wrestling has just become so popular in the past few years because of like streaming and iPay-per-view and stuff like that, and just because the talent pool is just starting to grow so large. And like you said, there's great talent in Germany already. There's great talent everywhere. That's waiting to be found.
I heard Kurt Angle had this he had an amazing interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin on his podcast. If you guys haven't heard it, make sure you hear it. He does talk a lot about addiction in that one and what he went through. But he talked about how he's a lot in the indie scene now and how he's, competing with these guys that are coming up and everything. And he's like, my God, wrestling is hotter than ever. It's great.
It's insane. And I honestly feel like Triple H has his thumb on the pulse of that. I mean, he clearly knows what's up. I mean, like Pete Dunne, the way they put Pete Dunne over in this tournament was so much different than the way they built up anybody else in the Cruiserweight Classic. He was just this dirty heel that you hated because he was beating everybody up after their match, and it just felt and they had William Regal, getting in his face backstage, and it was just like a well put together show. I highly recommend it for anyone who didn't watch it. One of my co-hosts watched it this morning, and he was like, I can't believe everyone didn't watch this. It was amazing.
WWE Network. Right?
It's still there. You can go back and watch it, everybody.
And hi, this is Mark in the booth here.
Hello, Mark from
I
up above.
think this reminds me a lot of what Vince McMahon did with the territory system in America back in the day, and now what's happening on a global scale. And if you permit me, I just want to promote our AfterBuzz TV. If you want to talk more about the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, we did do a 2-hour review show on the entire thing. Head over there. It was an amazing time talking about a great tournament.
What would they Google to get through that one?
Just click on AfterBuzz TV after this interview. It should be one of the top videos that you find.
But what's the name of it?
The WWE United Kingdom Championship Tournament After Show.
There you go.
Solid plug right there.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that's good.
Yes.
And you all know I'm the SmackDown girl. So let's talk about what's going on with the SmackDown Women's Champion. Alexa Bliss will defend her title against Becky Lynch in a steel cage match this week on SmackDown Live. This match was set last week after this character La Luchadora has been popping up during Becky and Alexa's matches. And no one quite knows who she is, although there's a lot of speculation. So in order to keep anyone else out of the match, Daniel Bryan set this stipulation and has put the ladies in a steel cage match. Let's talk a little bit more about La Luchadora. First, La Luchadora was revealed to be Becky Lynch, and then Alexa Bliss had a little bout as La Luchadora. However, there was a third masked Luchadora. There is speculation that face underneath the mask belongs to Indie Darling and NXT kind of has worked a little for NXT. Her name is Deonna Purrazzo. But what makes more sense in this storyline is that the returning Mickie James will end up being a part of this and will somehow make her SmackDown debut perhaps involved in this match this week.
Oh my God! I just
cannot miss this.
Yeah, I just want Mickie James back. Like I don't care if it's SmackDown, I don't care if it's Raw.
Oh no, we want her on SmackDown.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
I don't know. I think I want her on Raw. I mean, I think that in my opinion, I feel like they need her around more. They don't have like a veteran female wrestler on Raw. I feel like SmackDown, they've already got Nikki Bella handling her business over there, and
Natty.
And Natty. And I don't know. I feel like I personally. I feel like it'd be cool if they kind of, because Bayley's whole thing in NXT was that she was a super fan.
You think about Trish, when Trish was in WWE and then Mickie James came in, Mickie was the super fan to Trish, right? So how cool would it be that all of a sudden Bayley's there and now Bayley becomes the super fan to Mickie?
That's what I think would be a good
awesome.
idea. And like you said, it calls back to the past.
Yes.
And I my opinion, I love Bayley. Bayley's like one of my favorite female wrestlers.
The two of them wrestling?
Would be great. But I feel like her time on the main roster hasn't been as great as it was in NXT. And I feel like a lot of that was because when she was in NXT, she started as this super fan that everyone saw like she was one of us, like she's a super fan. And it grew into becoming the best wrestler on the roster. And I hope that I would like Mickie to come over and she becomes the super fan for Mickie and maybe goes down that route a little bit again.
And Christy, why do you want her on SmackDown?
Just because I cover SmackDown here at AfterBuzz TV, and I want to talk about her because I love her.
Strictly for selfish purposes.
But you guys almost have me convinced there. I think there would be some great things for her to do over at Raw. You're right.
I like that.
You're right.
I love that.
I like that there's like it's like the brands, how they have like a thing between them where they have a rivalry between them, Raw and SmackDown. I feel like that's going on here in AfterBuzz TV, where the Raw after show and the SmackDown after show have a little bit of a rivalry too.
Team Red and Team Blue.
I love
Well,
it.
you guys mentioned Bailey, and she's part of these achievers in this next story.
All right.
Let's see if these ladies make the list next year. Pro Wrestling Illustrated has released their 44th edition of the Annual Achievement Awards, naming AJ Styles as the Wrestler of the Year.
There you
Pretty
go.
good for a guy who only made his debut last year. He won 51% of the vote. This is voted on by the people, for the people. We all know he had this epic feud with John Cena over the last year, and actually their bout at SummerSlam was named Match of the Year.
Wow.
Also, Nia Jax got Rookie of the Year in this one. Most Improved went to The Miz. Woman of the Year is, of course, Charlotte. And Most Popular went to Shinsuke Nakamura. So congratulations to all of them.
Just sticking out in that whole list for me, Most Improved, The Miz. Like, how long has he been in the WWE, right? And then all of a sudden he's getting this award?
Well,
I
it's interesting.
understand what you're saying, Lillian, but he's had this great bout with the Intercontinental Championship title this year and has really built that title up, and that's what he's getting the credit for, right, Ryan?
And, well, I was also going to say that you said this was fan voted, so I feel like The Miz, he's one of those people that the internet people for a long time loved to crap on. You know, he had that great run where he won the title and was involved in WrestleMania, and then after that, he wasn't used as much, so the internet fans didn't love him as much. And ever since the brand split, like Christy said, I mean, he has had this whole new resurgence where he's just been killing it. I mean, he's one of the most entertaining parts of SmackDown, and if he was put in more matches, like if he had the title, he probably could have been Wrestler of the Year because he has been awesome. But it is weird to see him on a most improved list. I agree.
Improved list. Yeah, it just sticks out. But I mean, I do agree that he's just, I mean, God, this guy's had a career. Think about how long he's just been there and been there and been there. And one thing about him that I always see is that intensity of just, I want to do a great job. I want to be awesome. Truly lives his gimmick of
No pun intended
awesome.
there.
And he's never been injured, isn't that right?
What?
I think that is true. Yeah, not like majorly injured or anything like that, I
That's crazy.
believe.
That's
And-
amazing.
Never been out for an extended period of time. So.
Wow.
And it's hard, and I don't think you can argue that AJ Styles wasn't the Wrestler of the Year. I mean, AJ Styles
I
was the
can't argue
Wrestler
that at
of
all.
the Year. The only one I was interested in that I maybe would argue with on there was the Match of the Year, the AJ versus John Cena.
Oh,
Who would you have gotten?
I mean, it's hard if you. I don't know if the tag matches are involved, but I mean, the Revival versus DIY at the NXT Takeover when it was the 2 out of 3 falls. That was the top of most people's list. I mean, I thought that was one of the best matches of the year. And Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. Well, at Takeover before WrestleMania. I mean, those two matches were very hard to beat. But I mean, if they're only going main roster WWE stuff, then I'll let them
Guys,
slide.
can you believe though? Like people always ask me, they're like, "Oh, so which is the match that you had the best time of whatever watching, from ringside or whatever?" And it was always so hard for me because there's always something special in every single match, right? Pretty much. It's hard to always just pinpoint one.
Is there like a few that stick out though?
Oh my God! Like,
Well, when you know them personally,
Love it.
that makes it tough too,
I think
right?
that's too. I think that sometimes it's hard because I also know what's gone into the match. I've seen some stuff backstage, or whatever in the end. And so that makes it a little bit hard, and I get, personal with them as well.
You gotta have like 1 to 3 though. Like,
No,
you gotta
I
have
mean,
3.
seriously, you know what stinks out to me, though? Not even just the match, okay? Not even
being there.
touching each other. The stare down between The Rock and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania.
There we go.
How do they not laugh?
What the hell? It went on for minutes and minutes and minutes, and they didn't even touch each other, and the place was like, and then they come down and they're like, it was just crazy. I remember watching this going, this is unbelievable. It's like they've orchestrated. They have just everybody right here, right? And they haven't even touched. Like, that was something.
See, you do have one.
See, well, I have just a special moment. Not even a special match, but a special moment. But yeah, but going to our guest today, anytime Kurt Angle stepped into the ring, I knew that we were going to get an amazing match, right? Like, you just know. Like, it's just so He really did live by his intensity, or what was the three A's? Integrity, and intelligence. There you go. He lived by that. And like I said, just really super guy backstage. So we're going to get to that very, very, very soon. You got another story for us?
No, I know you're excited to get to that.
All right.
So this has been the Making Their Way to the Ring news. I'm Christy Olson, the managing editor and chief correspondent of AfterBuzz TV's Pro Wrestling News Division and co-host of X-Pac 12360 right here on AfterBuzz TV. And back to you, Lilian.
All right, thank you, Christy. And yes, we are now going to go into this interview. Thank you, Ryan. Woo. I appreciate you hanging out and doing this. It's fun to have you part of the team for sure.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm just excited as everyone else to hear this interview. So we should get on it.
Let's do it. All right. So before I lose my pen, we're going to be bringing you now Kurt Angle. I mean, you're going to see this package right now that just sums up a little part of his life. Ladies and gentlemen, right after this, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is an Olympic gold medalist, professional wrestler, actor, and advocate. Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Kurt grew up in a large family. Watching his 4 older brothers wrestle, he decided to follow in their footsteps. While studying at Clarion University of Pennsylvania, Kurt scored 2 NCAA Division I heavyweight titles. He then came out on top at the World Wrestling Championships and went on to compete in the 1996 Summer Olympics. Despite suffering a broken neck, Kurt won the gold medal in freestyle wrestling, making him one of only 4 athletes in history to earn an amateur wrestling Grand Slam. In 1998, Kurt signed with the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, later known as WWE. Less than 2 years later, he had held both the Intercontinental and European titles. In late 2000, Kurt won the coveted King of the Ring tournament, and shortly thereafter would have his first reign as the WWF champion. Securing every possible title and touting integrity, intelligence, and intensity, Kurt wrestled for WWE until 2006. That same year, USA Wrestling named him the greatest shoot wrestler ever and one of the top 15 college wrestlers of all time. Kurt then joined Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, where he became the only wrestler in history to hold all available titles at once. He left TNA in 2016 and was inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame later that year. Making his film debut in 2009's Endgame, Kurt is also a successful actor. He has appeared in multiple roles in film and on television, starring alongside Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Pain and Gain, and having a memorable cameo in Sharknado 2. Kurt still resides in Pittsburgh, where he enjoys spending time with his wife and 5 children. He founded the Angle Strong Initiative, which helps those battling addiction and devotes his time to other charitable organizations, including Make-A-Wish and Get Out the Vote. Kurt is also an in-demand motivational speaker and continues to tease a return to the ring. It's about to get real, raw, and inspiring with Kurt Angle. Wow. Kurt Angle is here with me right now. I am so honored to have you. Welcome to Making Their Way to the Ring, Kurt.
Lilian, it's great to hear your voice. It's been so long. I'm just happy to be on your show.
I can't even tell you. I thank you so much. When I asked and you were like, absolutely, I'll do it. I'm so excited, especially because, like I was saying, I wish you were in the studio so I could give you like this huge hug.
I know. You were one of my favorites.
Nah, you too. Anytime anybody always asks me, so who's your favorite wrestler? Who's your favorite wrestler? I was like, don't tell anybody else, but Kurt Angle rocks. Seriously, I mean, God, all we did was laugh backstage, right?
I know. We had a lot of fun.
So much fun, cutting up everywhere, and just had so many incredible memories with you. I remember when you first started at WWE and the rise that you had, like, boom, you just went, you flew, right?
Yeah.
It was so fast. And I remember you were like, God, this is crazy. What's going on? I'm like, dude, you deserve it. Like, you really.
So, I was surprised because I didn't know what I was doing half the time. And it just, everything came to me, and the funny skits and the wrestling. And it was so much fun. Every week I look forward to doing whatever we were going to do, especially with you, Edge and Christian, Austin, The Rock, Triple H. It was a lot of fun.
What a crazy time we were at. Like, we look back now, right? The Attitude Era. We look back now. At the time, it was just, we were having so much fun.
Yeah.
And then now to know what an era it was and how everybody still talks about the Attitude Era.
Yeah, it was special. You're right.
And so I wanted to tell you, but I mean, you know, before we get into everything with WWE, because there is so much to talk about, our whole time there, and all this show, Making Their Way to the Ring, the journey to the ring. I've heard you talk about a lot of struggles that you've had, but I've never really heard about the actual journey. Like, you were born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right?
I grew up,
Or you grew up, it was a town close to Pittsburgh that's officially, right, your birthplace?
Yeah, it was Mount Lebanon, Dormont. It was a suburb of Pittsburgh. Yes.
Right. Because I remember, though, I always touted you from Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And you grew up with, now you had your 4 older brothers and your sister. So you're the baby.
Yes, I was the baby. And, you know, growing up, and my brothers and my sister, sports were always important in our family. So I was going to be an athlete. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And, you know, my sister was a great athlete, but she was more of a cheerleader back then, because in the 70s, you know, women didn't really play sports. But she was a wrestling cheerleader. My brothers were all wrestlers, and I was kind of forced into it. I wasn't very good as a kid. And
really?
I was more of a crybaby, and that really bothered my brothers. But little did they know I was going to be the best one.
Well, there you go.
Thank God I was the youngest, right?
Right. Yeah, I wanted to find out, like, after they saw your rise, I mean, how were they supportive?
Yeah, I don't think they really thought that I was going to have the success I had, because I was more of a team oriented athlete. I didn't like to be alone. I didn't want the pressure to be on me. But I learned how to cope with it. And the older I got, the better I became. And I wasn't very good when I started as a kid, but by the time I got into high school, I started, you know, getting the hang of dealing with it on my own. And I was always a great athlete. I just didn't know if I had the courage to be a champion. And I did. I think that I worked on it every day, every year. My brothers always instilled in me to always give my best. And because of that, I always did. I wasn't much of a choker. I thought I would choke a lot in crucial times, but instead I actually flourished. So I was very blessed.
But what do you think? Because a lot of people will comment about that, and they'll say, man, I was just so scared to go for it, or I was so insecure, I didn't know if I was good enough, all that. Some people never get out of that, and some people just get stuck there. What happened with you? Was it your brothers? Was it, like, what do you feel impacted you to be able to push through?
I think with a lot of individuals, a lot of athletes, is how do they deal with pressure? How do they deal with being nervous? With me, I didn't like being nervous, but I was nervous quite a bit. So the pressure was very, very difficult on me, but I always seemed to push through it. You know, my brothers, they didn't get nervous. They wanted to hurt their opponents. Mm-hmm. Me, I wanted to score on them. I didn't think about punishing them. I thought about how could I score on them. I was more of a technician than I was a brawler or a banger. So I think the technician part of me is what made me succeed as an athlete. My brothers were more like, I want to break his neck, I want to hurt him, you know.
Yeah.
and they did. They just got disqualified a lot. They got a lot of penalty points against them because they had tempers. I didn't have a temper. I looked at it from a technique standpoint, and that's how I attacked my opponents, and it worked for me. And a lot of guys that would try to hurt me were so prone, especially in the Olympics when my neck was broken.
Yeah.
A lot of athletes knew my neck was broken, so they were going after my neck. And while they were focusing on my neck, I was focusing on scoring on them. So,
wow.
You know, it really helped that I wasn't that kind of animal. I was more of a technician.
But do you know where that came from? Like, why the difference? No,
no, I don't. It's just the way I looked at life. I'm not the kind of person that wants to hurt other individuals. But I do know that if I don't win, I lose. So I wasn't going to be the one to lose. I'm not that kind of person that has so much compassion that I can't, get in there and win. I know what sports entail. And there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And I didn't like losing. So I knew that I was going to go out there and give my best and do everything I could to win.
I do definitely want to talk about the Olympics because that was huge. Did you, growing up, were you that way as well with focusing on schoolwork and your grades and all of that? I mean, that was you
yeah.
all the way around?
Well, I was one of 6 kids. I'm the only college graduate. So, yes,
Wow.
I was a good student. I did what I could. The thing is, sports and school kept me out of trouble. My brothers had a really bad reputation of being bad boys, and they got in a lot of fights. They got in a lot of trouble. My brothers, when they would get the report card, it would read Eddie, E-D-D-I-E, 2 E's, 2 D's, and an incomplete. So I learned how to get the A's and B's, and they were more, they more had a reputation of being the bad boys.
Wow. So with you then at school, is there a teacher or anything that actually stands out that really made an impact? Or was it your father? Was it your mother?
Well, my dad was pretty much a badass too. It was my mother. My mom, she babied me, and she made sure I wasn't going to make the same mistakes as my brother. I think she wanted somebody in the family that would carry a legacy that would make her proud. And I think I was her last hope. So my mother did a lot for me. We were very tight. I actually lived with her until after the Olympics. So I lived with her for 28 years.
Wow.
And her and I were very close. And it was very difficult losing her about 2 years ago. So I know how you feel, Lilian, about your father. But, she had a great life, and she treated me very well. And she showed me how to treat other individuals. I think that all my brothers were more like my dad, and I was more like my mom, and I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, there you go. Wow. It's amazing. A lot of people don't realize the influence that parents do still play in their lives. And I know you're a father now of 5.
Yeah,
wow.
I love my kids.
Yeah.
We just had a newborn in November.
Yeah, congratulations.
November. Nicoletta. Yeah, so I love it. I look back, and when I was in WWE, I had 2 kids, Kira and Cody. I just never saw them because I was always on the road, and I didn't really know what it was like to be a father. When you're gone 320 days a year,
yeah,
and you go home and you want to do nothing but sleep, you kind of miss out on that. And especially in my recovery after my addiction, I learned how to be a really good father, and I enjoy it. I love being with my kids. It's to the point where there are times I don't want to work anymore. I just want to be with them. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to miss out on anything that they're going to do. So I've learned how to be a good father, and my parents were great parents too. They did what they could. They both had to work full-time and overtime to provide for us because they didn't make much money. But with me, I've been very blessed to make some money. So I've been able to be at home more and be there for them.
That's great. That's awesome. So I want to take you back when you were 16 and your father, there was a construction accident and his life was taken. How did that affect you?
My dad was my biggest fan. He never missed a sporting event. He would work 12 hours a day, but if I was wrestling or I had a football game, he would cut out of work early. He would go to every event. He never missed anything. My dad was a great dad. He was an alcoholic, and he did like his alcohol. He had to have that all day, all night. Most of the time he was either working or he was passed out on the couch. But he did whatever he could to provide for us, and he was always there as a fan. To support us. So he taught me a lot about being a father. Unfortunately, he did like the booze. They didn't really look at it from this perspective, but when he died, back then, this was in 1985, I don't think they really checked his blood level. I don't know if he was drunk or not. He obviously was always drinking all day long. I mean, he would wake up in the morning, drink. During lunch, he would drink. Then after work, he would go to the club and drink. And then he would drink at night. Then he would get up in the middle of the night and drink.
Wow.
So, yeah, he was a functional alcoholic. But I wouldn't doubt if the alcohol cost him his life.
Yeah, I was going to say they never did test that at the end, like you really don't know?
No.
Did that affect you, though, watching him, you know, growing up, going through that cycle? That had to affect you somehow.
Well, what I noticed was, and I think that's why I refrained from that for so long, I noticed he was a prisoner to it. You know, he would always have to drink every few hours. And it was usually, you know, a bunch of rum or scotch, 2 glasses where he'd shoot it down real fast. And he'd be okay for a few hours. And then he'd wake up again, drink it again, wake up in the morning, do it again. He just did it all day long. And I noticed that he was trapped and that he was a prisoner to that disease. And back then, nobody knew what an alcoholic was. But looking at it now, I know how he feels because I've had my own demons. Right. And I know what it feels like to start going through withdrawal and trying to get something to help curb it. So I know what my dad was going through, and I have a lot of compassion for what he had to go through.
Well, then, and I, you know, the addiction that you had, which we'll talk about in detail, but it is something that, to me, I look back at what you've got with your father and then what you've gone through, and the silver lining is that you're able to help now more people.
Yeah.
But before,
well, my sister died in 2003 of a heroin overdose. So it's been in my family, and you know, I've seen it, I've witnessed it, and I've experienced it myself, and I'm in a better place right now in my life, and my wife and my kids have shown me the way, and I just don't want people to have to go through that anymore. You know, the heroin epidemic, the opiate epidemic, you know, 55,000 people have OD'd in the last 2 years. It's just getting worse and worse. 78 Americans a day die from opioid use. We have 21 million Americans that have a drug disorder, and only 10% get treatment, and only 5% of that 10% stay in recovery. So you're talking 100,000 people out of 21 million stay in recovery.
You know, and
I read,
yeah, it's really horrible. And I've also read that it's like even just cocaine. We consume as Americans 80% of the cocaine used in the world. Yeah. 80%.
4/5 of it. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And yet we're in a country that has so much opportunity. We have, everyone's got, they're not living on the streets, you know what I'm saying? Like in so many other countries where there's poverty is even worse. We have places that we can go to all the time. We got places we can go dance. We can have houses. We've got cars. We've got, like I said, opportunity. Why do you think that, and all the research that you've done, or all the recovery, everything that you've done, why do you think that America is, what I want to say, lost?
I think the main reason is we're ashamed of it. We don't want to talk about it. When somebody goes to rehab, they keep it under wraps. They go through it, they get it done, and then they go back home. They don't talk about it. I've noticed that for years, and I kept quiet about it, and then I realized this isn't helping anybody. Going to rehab and making sure the rehab center doesn't contact media because I'm a celebrity and I don't want anybody to know about this. And I'm thinking, why do we always do this? It's like over and over. People go to rehab, or they have an addiction problem, and they try to get it fixed, or they do get it fixed, or whatever it is. But they don't want to talk about it, and it's just happening so much. Yeah. And it's just getting worse and worse every single year. So I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I decided to speak out. I mean, my wife and I have had arguments about it, and I think she finally caved in and said, "You need to tell your story."
This is great. Kurt, seriously, because this is something that, because you're speaking out, it gives somebody else the courage to also say, you know what, but why do you think even people start? That's my whole thing. It's like, we've got so much opportunity. What is in the mentality of people nowadays that they just have to, like, they're trying to numb their emotions?
Yeah. Yeah, it could be anything. It could be child abuse. It could be being in a bad marriage. It could be, for me, it was my injuries. It was my injuries and also being in a pretty bad marriage at the time. I didn't want to feel anything. But breaking my neck again in WWE, I started on painkillers. And the first pill I took, I loved it. I loved how it made me feel. It made me feel indestructible. And the more I took, I kept getting injured. Lillian.
Yes.
I broke my neck 4 times in 2.5 years. And I just got more and more depressed. It was like, why is this happening to me? And I didn't want to feel the pain anymore. I felt like my career was being taken away from me. And it did. I didn't do it in the Olympics. I broke my neck. I didn't take any painkillers back then. But I felt the same way as I did in the Olympics. I broke my neck right before the Olympics, and I felt like no doctor would clear me to wrestle. I was like, why is this being taken away from me? Well, in WWE, I finally revived another career that made me feel the same as I did in the Olympics, and that was being taken away from me early on, right after I started. So I just felt like I wanted to numb everything and not feel the pain. I had an underlying issue. It was that I didn't know how to deal with having something taken away from me. And I think acceptance is the number one reason. You have to accept what's going on in your life and realize what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. And I think a lot of people are in denial of accepting who they are and what they want to do.
Like, I feel like maybe in this society you've touched on something that we all want to try to function at a 10. And we're all trying to look good for our neighbors. And yes, I have this and I have that and I have this car and I have this house and then this. And then it takes so much work to keep that up. And then you're just constantly trying to keep everything at such a 10. And
Overloaded.
It's impossible. And then you get to the point where you can't, you have such stress, right? That you just want to hide that stress or not feel that. Wow. Okay, so let's take you.
We have a pill for everything, Lilian. We have a pill for pain. We have a pill for anxiety. We have, we have a pill to sleep. It's just, there's a lot out there, and if we can't cope with something, we don't want to cope with it without having drugs.
Yeah, and what I've also read too is that the bad part is not only are you numbing maybe the anxieties or all of that but you're also numbing the joy that does come into your life. You can't even realize it's there because you're so numb 24/7.
Yeah.
So let's take you back to. Here you are. This is before you're wrestling. Now you started wrestling when you were how old?
At 7 years old.
7. Wow. Okay. And then when you said high school is when you started getting good.
Yeah, I was getting beat up a lot as a kid in elementary school. Were
you bullied?
I didn't have a lot.
Ever?
No, I wasn't bullied. I got beat up on the mat.
Yeah.
I didn't get beat up. I was an angle boy, so nobody was going to mess with me.
Yeah, you had your guards.
The crazy thing is I never had to fight for myself because I had a brother, Eric, who was a year and a half older than me, and if anybody had a problem with me, he would just knock them out.
There you go.
So
he had your own bodyguard.
I never had to really fight. I wasn't a fighter, but being part of my brothers and everything, I just I wasn't. I wanted to be as good as they were as a wrestler, and I wasn't. And it was very difficult for me to see them have success and me not have that when I was younger in the elementary school and junior high. I just wasn't them, and so I just continued to work as hard as I could to make them proud. And I eventually did. I won a state title in high school. I actually won the nationals in high school, which was surprising. And then it just came to me. I mean, literally the next year at Clarion, when I went to college, I was a world-class athlete. I was wrestling guys on the Olympic team and beating them.
Wow.
So it came very quickly to me.
And so it became a thing, then from what I'm hearing you say, at first it was just competing with your brothers or following in their footsteps. But then all of a sudden the passion came into it?
Yes.
And that was when you started doing well.
Yeah, I really loved it. And like I said, I took a different approach. I wasn't a banger, try to beat this guy up and mangle him and hurt him. I was more of a, how do I score on him? How do I win by points? I wasn't a pinner as a wrestler. I didn't pin a lot of opponents. I scored. I tallied up a lot of points. my average points as a wrestler every match was 20. I mean, to score 20 points in a wrestling match, it's very difficult to do, but that's what I did. I took the guys down, let them up, took them down, let them up. I just was a great technician, and I wish I would have learned how to pin guys. It would have been easier on me.
Yeah.
But that's how I took the approach. I had more of a scientific approach than a brawler approach.
And while, like you just said, it definitely paid off in the Olympics, which, by the way, something that dawned on me. Yeah. I can't believe it. You know that you and I were at the Olympics at the same time.
No.
Yes, I was in Atlanta performing. I was singing. Yes.
Did you perform at the Olympics?
At the Centennial Park.
Centennial.
Yes, I was on one of the stages.
Oh man,
crazy, right?
Well, I didn't know you then, so.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
But you know what? It just I put two and two together, like I always heard Olympic athlete. You and I have talked about it and everything, but it never dawned on me that it was the exact same Olympics.
That's crazy.
In Atlanta.
That was the place to be, Lilian. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I had fun. But thank God. Yeah. I just got out, like literally 15, 20 minutes before that bomb went off in Centennial Park.
You were there that night.
So I was there that night, and then I remember I left, and I was just exhausted, left early. By the time I got to the hotel, and the hotels, they had TV screens everywhere, right. All of a sudden it was like all this commotion, like, wait a minute, what just happened? And, they were talking about how the bomb just went off. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Shook everybody up.
Where were you? Now, had you already won before that day?
No, I was getting ready to compete in 2 days, and that happened 2 days prior, and we didn't know. Everybody was a little bit on edge. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if there were going to be other attacks. They really shut the park down, or I should say Olympic Village, where we were, where the athletes were. So we were on lockdown, and we really couldn't do anything after that. So it was more of sit and wait and hope that nothing happens. But as athletes, you realize if you don't get your head in the game and you get focused, you're going to lose. You're going to have everything taken away from you, and you're not going to be able to have the success you have. So you can't let things like that bother you. And it was hard. I mean, it was really new at the time. Nobody ever, let off a bomb, at a sporting event.
Right.
This was relatively new, so we were nervous, but at the same time, I think most of us realized, well, it happened once, it probably won't happen again. And these days, gosh, with everything going on with terrorism, you just don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, you could be in a restaurant right now, and you don't know. It's a very scary time.
But one thing that I think we've all learned, though, you've got to continue living. You have to continue living your lives.
You can't let them control you. You have to control your own. So yourself.
Yeah. Now your neck was broken before you got there to the Olympics?
Yes, I broke my neck at the U.S. Open a few months before the Olympics. I got thrown on my head, and I didn't know it was broken at the time. I was actually losing that match. I came back and won, and then I had a match in the finals 8 hours later, and I was in such excruciating pain. But I was able to get through it, and I barely won. I won by referee's decision. I couldn't do anything.
Wow.
After I won the U.S. Open, I still had the Olympic trials 6 weeks later, and my neck was screwed. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, but two great doctors, Julian Bales and Dr. Maroon, who's a WWE doctor,
right?
They came up with first of all, no doctor would clear me until I talked to Dr. Maroon. And he said, listen, we're going to do something really simple. Don't train, and we're going to go to the trials, and whenever you're ready to wrestle, we'll shoot you up 5 minutes before your match with Novocaine, and then you won't feel your neck for about an hour. But afterward, you're going to be in excruciating pain.
Oh, my God.
And we'll just do that every match. So I did that at the trials and the Olympics. And didn't take any painkillers, but it was rough. The cool thing was, he was right. I couldn't feel the pain, so I didn't worry about my neck until an hour later when it wore off, the Novocaine wore off. It was tough, and it was, I'm just very grateful I could get through it.
Could you have done
more? The rumor was that my neck was screwed. Huh?
Yeah, could you have done more pain to yourself? I mean, more damage to yourself?
Yeah. Well, that's what the doctor said. He said, you're risking paralysis, but I'm going to let you do this. I went to 5 doctors, and they all said no. So Dr. Maroon and Dr. Bell has really helped me. I think they realized how crucial it was for me that this was a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't guaranteed 4 years later I was going to make the team, so this was my only opportunity. So they gave me the opportunity to do it. I just don't know at this day and age if a doctor will ever clear anyone at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think there's so much red tape.
It was a little more, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
And, so things are different now.
Right.
Especially with lawsuits. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I could never see them do that again. Yeah. But for you, a lot of athletes, when they're injured going in, it plays with their mind in such a way that they just, either they make it happen like you, or they shut off. Like, what the heck was going through your mind that you were like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this?
I just thought that this was my only chance. I was lower middle class kid in Pittsburgh, and this was my only opportunity to break out. And I just didn't want anything to come between me and my gold medal. That's how I looked at it. It was mine. It was mine to win because the year before I won the world championships, and I was expected to at least medal in the Olympics. And the thing is, nobody would have known I was a world champion. Because the world championships is just like the Olympics. It's just not on an Olympic year. So I got no publicity for winning the world.
Oh, wow.
When I won the Olympic gold, I became a household name.
Yeah.
So nobody would have even known who Kurt Angle was unless you're in the wrestling world, the amateur wrestling world. So it was, I just knew this was my only chance, and I couldn't let it go by me.
Did your brothers call you and help you out?
Oh yeah. They actually at the U.S. Open when I broke my neck, they made me wrestle in the finals.
Oh really?
I was in so much pain, and I'm like, I don't think I could do this. And they're like, shut up, you're doing it. And, so if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have done it. I think I would have backed out, and I probably would have quit. So my brothers and my sister Leanne played a crucial role in me being a little more ballsy and brave. So there was a reason for their madness, and there was a reason that God put them in my life, especially at that time. And I really believe me not being like them, but them being hard on me was the best thing for me.
That's awesome. And now you get, just 2 years after the Olympics, WWE comes around and signs you.
Well, I wish it was like that. Actually, I'll give you a quick synopsis.
Yeah.
Right after the Olympics, Vince flew me up. And
right after?
He offered me a 10-year deal. Yeah, wow. Nice deal. And he said, this is what you're going to do. We're going to do a 10-year deal. I think he gave Mark Henry the same deal. And I remember telling Vince, well, I'm an Olympic gold medal. I didn't understand pro wrestling. I never watched it. And I said, well, Mr. McMahon, I'm an Olympic gold medalist, so I can never lose. And Vince just looked down at the paper, and he was like, okay, well, you go home and look at that contract. I literally didn't hear from him again.
Oh.
And so actually 2.5 years later, I contacted him. And I said, is that deal still there? He said, no, but you can come up and try out.
Oh,
now,
I love it.
I am grateful for that because nothing ever came easy for me.
Yeah.
And I think if I would have gotten the contract earlier, I don't think I would have had the same success as I did. I worked really hard at impressing Vince and Jim Ross at the time. And I think Bruce Pritchard was there as well. So it was more of how do I prove to them that I'm worthy? And that's how my life has always been. So I don't regret turning Vince down. I'm not turning him down, but at least telling him, listen, I'm not going to play by your rules. But the second time when I approached, I took a different approach to it, and I took my work ethic to them.
Yeah.
And, they loved it. I learned, Lilian, when I tell you the first day I bumped, when I was trying out, I took 3 bumps, and I looked at my manager, and I said, F this, I quit. I'm not doing this. It's too much pain. I couldn't believe how much pain I was going through. By the 3rd day, I was wrestling matches. I don't know how I caught on so quickly. it was like I was meant to do it.
Right.
I literally, when I started 18 months before I won the WWE title. That's the day I started. Like, nobody has ever picked up that quickly.
No.
I was literally main eventing with The Rock and Triple H months into when I started.
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
Did I know what I was doing? No, but I was able to follow these guys, and I was picking up very quickly. So I don't think anybody will ever have that kind of success that quickly. I just think I was meant to do it.
Yeah, but it also says a lot about you that you were receptive to also hearing what they had to say. Because one thing I have seen some guys go in there and they go in with the attitude of, I know it all, oh yeah, whatever you say, or the agent will sit there and say to them, or the producer, they'll go, hey, you need to do this, and then they go in and do completely different opposite, something different.
Yeah.
And then they come through.
I listened. You're right. I kept my mouth shut and I listened, and I picked it up like a sponge.
Yeah, I mean,
you're absolutely right.
I say to them, sometimes they'll be, in the gorilla position or something, and then they'll come back, and then the producer's looking at them like, dude, what happened to everything we talked about? Well, I kind of felt like something out there differently. And I'm going, oh, God, this person doesn't realize how much hot water they just placed on themselves.
I know.
Right?
But I'll tell you this, though, and you know this business. If a new guy comes in and he's getting a push from the boss and the other guys don't like it, they're going to be a little bit more unforgiving, and they're going to lay into you a little harder. These guys, the Austins, the Rocks, the Jerichos, the Edge and Christians, the Triple H's, they were really giving toward me. They never tried to screw me over or try to make me look bad. They saw my talent and they knew I wasn't quite ready, but they were able to nurture me to continue to improve. They could have made me look bad at any moment, but they didn't do that. So I'm so very grateful for what those guys did. The Eddie Guerreros, even the Chris Benoits, and we're not supposed to really talk about that.
It doesn't matter. In this show, you can talk about everything.
There are guys that just they gave so much to me because they believed in me, and you have to this, Lilian. I was taking their spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really hard to be giving to somebody that's going to be the champion where everybody else wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how they were toward me. Now, maybe they were a little bit nervous or scared because I was, considered a Olympic gold medalist badass. Maybe not. I don't know. But I could tell you that nobody really tried to screw me over.
But I can also...
And if it weren't for them...
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, but
if it weren't for them nurturing me, I would have never had the success I had.
But Kurt, I can also honestly say it's because of the person you are. You are so lovable. Seriously, there's something about you that's so magnetized. But I always wanted to be around you. Anytime I saw you, I lit up. I mean, you just have that personality and that aura about you where you're not out there for just Kurt Angle. You are a team player. Yeah. And people see that.
I learned from those guys, and I learned how to give back. I gave back to the Cenas and the Lesners and the Randy Ortons when they were younger. I realized, those guys did for me, I'm going to do for them. So, I always did have that in my heart, but they gave me the explanation point to continue to be who I am and to give back the way they did for me.
Did that feel weird to be?
It's a cutthroat business, too.
It is. And did that feel strange to you how is that feeling where you're the guy that is going to be brought up. Now you're up there. Now you got to help somebody else along. How did that feel?
You know what? I had the reputation of making everybody look good. So I started taking more pride in how do I make this guy that's not so great of a wrestler, how can I get a 4-star match out of him when he's a little green still? I'll give you an example. John Cena, one of the best wrestlers that ever lived. I watch this kid now and I'm amazed. He's been on top for 14 years?
Oh, yeah.
Gosh,
it's crazy.
I was there for 6.5 and I had to take a time out. So John's, he has my utmost respect. But when John started, he had his first match with me in WWE. Yes, he was green. But him and I had an incredible match. It was a quick 12-minute match, but I did everything I could to make him look good, and I took pride in that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's the thing is Kurt Angle could have a match with a broomstick. That's the kind of reputation I got. So I didn't care about the winning and losing so much. I cared about the quality of the match, and the quality of match had to entail both sides shine, not just me, but him too. So it wasn't about the winning and losing anymore. It was about how could Kurt Angle continue to have 4-star matches with everybody.
And as a matter of fact, it was WrestleMania 21, your match with Shawn Michaels, who people talk about how not only was it just like the best match you've ever had, but just, I mean, something so special about that match. Take us to that match. What were you thinking before it, after, during?
Well, with Shawn, I will tell you this, Shawn, hands down the best. I never been in a ring with somebody that polished, that good. The thing is, Shawn and I never wrestled before that. And,
wow.
And even though you have a whole week to prepare for your match, Shawn and I didn't really talk about our match. We talked about family. We talked about personal issues that we were having or what we were going through. We only practiced one move. It was a move where I had to lift him up over my head, and he did a sunset flip behind me. It was just a quick move that we were going to use in the match. Other than that, we talked a little bit about the match, but we didn't go over anything. Shawn and I, the first time we locked horns was literally at WrestleMania 21. And to have that kind of match with somebody you've never been in the ring with.
That's crazy.
That shows the kind of character Shawn has and the kind of athlete he was. I knew I was a world-class athlete, but seeing Shawn and having that match with him, it was like, wow, this guy is so damn good. I don't know if there's anybody better in the business. So, you know, it wasn't just his athletic ability. It was his psychology. It was everything that he had. Shawn was the full package. And to be able to get in that ring and have the type of match we did, you know, it has to be one of the top 5 greatest matches of all time.
Absolutely.
And Shawn's a special athlete. And to be able to get in the ring and have that kind of match with him, I enjoyed every time I worked with Shawn. I think we only wrestled maybe 2 or 3 times after that. But I would have loved to have a nice long program with Shawn. It just wasn't in the cards.
So when the question, as a matter of fact, there was a question from Twitter. Someone was asking if you had, actually at Laser Focus Ray, if you were to have one more match with one of your favorite rivals, who would it be? Would it be Shawn?
Yeah, I just, I don't know. You know, Shawn and I are later on in years now. Don't get me wrong. I can still go, and I know Shawn can still go. But I think the one that I would really love to have a final match with right now is the kid that's the hottest right now in WWE, and that's AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I wrestled AJ in TNA, and I can tell you that he is every bit as good as Shawn Michaels.
Wow. Yeah.
I have not. The thing with AJ Styles, and I want everybody to realize this, you don't have to do anything with him. He does all the work. So it's an easy match for you. He flies around the ring. He does all the bumping. AJ is a special individual where you can go in that ring and literally just stand in the middle, and he does everything for you. I have never had a match with anybody that's been so easy, and every time I worked with him it was a 5-star match. So AJ's that kind of talent, and he only comes around once in a lifetime, so I'd really love to shake it up with him one more time if I could.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I actually, you know, before I left, I got to work with him for a little while, and he's the same as you, though.
Nice
like,
kid, huh?
So nice. That's what I mean. He's the same as you. It's like he's so nice. He's so talented, but then he has I got along so well with him, and I was like, really? I got to leave now? Like I'm just getting.
AJ's easy.
Yeah, and I asked him. I did ask him. I was like,
AJ's a good kid.
Yeah, I asked him, why did you stay away from WWE for so long? And he literally said,
oh, gosh.
Right? He literally said, you know what? Now that I'm here, I don't know. I think he created something in his head of what WWE was. Dun, dun, dun.
I think the WWE wishes they would have contacted him 10 years prior.
Yeah, but I don't even think he might have come. It sounds to me like he wasn't even going to be ready to come.
Yeah, AJ loved doing the TNA thing and the indie scene. It wasn't always about money with AJ or fame. He just really enjoys it. Another wrestler is Samoa Joe from TNA.
Yeah.
Those two guys and the matches they'd had together, I'm just really happy that those two are finally in WWE and they're going to be able to have their time in the sun that they deserve.
Yeah.
Because they're both incredible athletes for who they are. Joe's a bigger guy, AJ's smaller, but the matches I had with them were so memorable.
So I want to talk again about the addiction things because it's so big in the fact that we want to, with this show, make an impact and help people. I do ask you one thing that, I don't know, maybe you'll be able to answer this or maybe not. Do you think that if it wouldn't have been for the pain, your broken necks, you've had 5 total so far? Is that right?
Yes.
5. Wow.
5.
God.
Yes.
I mean, 1 would have done people in already. Do you think that you would have, if it wouldn't have been for that, maybe you would have gotten addicted to something else or something? I mean, do you think because of your father and your sister, like it's in your blood, do you think that it's something that you're just genetically inclined to do?
Well, I don't know, Lillian, and I don't think I will ever know that, but I know this. I never had a desire to take it. I never had a desire to drink. You knew me in WWE when I was starting out. I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't go out with the boys and party. I always refrained from that. In high school, college, Olympics, the athletes, when they got done training and, they would go out to the bars at night, I would go back to my dorm room. I wasn't about that stuff. And maybe deep inside myself, I knew my family had this, this dark cloud over their head, and I didn't want to be a part of it. But when I was forced to start taking painkillers is when it started. And it didn't end there. I mean, I was up to 65 extra strength vodka a day.
I've heard of that. I'm like, what?
I was buying them illegally. Then I was having anxiety because of my neck, breaking it for 4 times in 2.5 years. So I was on anxiety medication. Then I started taking muscle relaxers. Then I started drinking alcohol. Then I was mixing all of it. It got really bad. I'm just grateful I'm still alive today.
Me too. That's the thing.
A couple times I OD'd.
I mean, literally hearing you 65 Vicodin a day, I don't even know how you're still around. God bless, because...
Oh, geez, dude, that's not including the Xanax and the Soma.
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. But you know what? And here's the thing. I don't have an addictive personality, and yet I was hit by a car. I don't know if you knew this or not, but back in 2012, I was run over by a car as a pedestrian. So, it was awful. My neck was messed up. My back was messed up. So sure enough, they gave me Vicodin. So I was taking Vicodin, but then because I don't have that personality, I didn't want to be on it. Like I just literally, so I was like, okay, time to wean myself off. The weaning process, 10 days of just such depression from coming off of it that I said to my husband, I remember saying to him going, oh my God, I know why people get addicted, because the withdrawal is so horrible. Right?
The recommended dosage, Lillian, you're only supposed to be on painkillers for 3 days.
What?
For them to give you 60, that's yes. You're not supposed to be on painkillers longer than 3 days. If it doesn't work for 3 days, you're supposed to get off. 99% of all prescriptions written out exceed the 3-day limit.
Yes.
So you're supposed to really get about 12 pills.
Wow.
One every 6 hours, so that'd be 4 a day. But every doctor, they'll give you 120 just for the month, and say, hey, come back next month and let's see how you're doing. It's gotten that bad, and it'll only take you a couple weeks to get addicted. And you know this stuff.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was like the only reason that I would even think of taking a Vicodin again was because I didn't want to go through the withdrawal because I was so depressed for 10 days. I didn't know what to do with myself. But I kept, like I said, I was like, okay, it'll get better tomorrow. But for somebody, okay, now you've got your app. Is it out yet? Or was it supposed to be out yesterday? Or how are we doing?
We
Angle
did a
Strong.
soft launch we did a soft launch yesterday. We're having some technical problems. It's available on the Android phone. We're still getting approval for the iPhone, the iOS.
Okay, which is why I wasn't able to find it.
Everything
Yeah.
will be ready to go within about 10 days.
That
We
is
have the
so
Angle Strong website. Please go there, anglestrong.com. Learn all about it. Learn all about me and what I'm doing. We really want to direct people there before they sign up. This isn't just for the recovering addicts or the addicts out there. This is for their family members. We have this process with Angle Strong and the Angle Strong app that if you're abiding by it, everything's good. But if you're not checking it daily, you're going to have lifelines. Your lifelines, your families, your loved ones, your sponsor. If you don't check it daily, they're notified. And they're and it's GPS tracking. So in case of an emergency, we're going to get to you. So this is a really cool app.
Wow.
It's very innovative, and I'm just proud to be part of it. I mean, when I started speaking publicly about my addiction and my problems, Dr. Jonas got a hold of me and he said, I know you're looking for an app or you want to create an app. I have an app that's an award-winning app, and it's HIPAA approved. How about we go on it together? And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted to do. So we're really excited about getting this started, and we want to really help the epidemic. This has been going on for years, and it's just going to get worse until somebody steps up, does something. The politicians talk about it, but that's about all they do.
Right.
We're at a point now where we need to do something about it.
So you know what? I feel like the silver lining in your whole life, everything that you've gone through, is because you can help so many people because you've been through it. You get it.
Yeah, and I have a platform. God's given me the ability to win the Olympic gold, to be a WWE wrestler, to be an actor, an entertainer, and to tell people, hey, I've gone through this too, and this is what you can do to improve your life and stay off that stuff. I've been motivated by God, my family, and it's helped me so much, and it makes me realize what really is important, and it's not the drug.
I hear you. I mean, the thing is that, Kurt, you're somebody that has gone through so much adversity, and people could fall apart with just a quarter of what you've been through. I mean, you've had, like I said, your father passed away when you were 16. Your mother lost her, battle with cancer. Your sister OD'd. Your coach was murdered
by an addict. Yeah, John DuPont was a alcoholic and a cocaine addict. Yeah, he was high. He was high too. So Dave got killed by an addict.
And then you've gone through so much with your addiction. Is there something in your mind that or somebody, or some phrase? Is there a quote? Is there what is it that gets you through all this adversity that you've been through?
Well, you know what? It was a woman that I met 8 years ago. She's about 19 years younger than me, but very mature, and she got me on the right path. There was meaning to my life. She was the love of my life. We started having kids, and I realized what it was like to be a husband and a father, by being sober. When I met her, I was still drinking and taking and using, but she's the one that got me off of it, and I can't thank her enough. She saved my life, and that's my love of my life, Giovanna. That's my wife, and she also got me back in reunion with my kids, Kira and Cody. She's been a crucial part of my life, and I'm so very grateful for her.
I am so happy for you that you found her then, and that you've actually recovered. And there is one question actually from Twitter that I think is important. This one guy who said, Garrett D., as someone who struggles with addiction himself, what made you want sobriety and how do you maintain it?
When I went to rehab, the first thing they tell you is you're going to mess up, you're going to screw up, you're going to be a mess up, but you just have to get back on track and continue your sobriety. They teach you at rehab that you're going to make mistakes. When I was in there, I realized I didn't want to make any more mistakes. I didn't want to be the person I was. You have to find the underlying issue. You know, a lot of people have to see counselors. For me, it was my neck. It was you know, it was also being in a bad relationship, and when I realized that that my wrestling career was coming to an end, and I had to accept that. I was okay with that. It's acceptance. You have to realize that you're not going to be who you are the rest of your life. You have to change. You have to go with the flow. Things aren't always going to be the way you want them to be. But if you can accept that, it's going to be easier on you. And that's what it was for me. I found the woman I wanted to be with, and I accepted that I wasn't going to wrestle forever. It wasn't going to be taken away from me. It's just God had another plan for me, and here I am right now. I'm gonna do His purpose with the Angle Strong app and helping other people that have suffered. I really believe you just have to accept who you are, and realize that if there's something that made you take or use in the past, you need to come to grips with it, and you need to realize that doesn't have to be you the rest of your life. You can change your life, and you can change who you are. And I'm in a great place in my life. I've talked to people, and you know, they're like, "Hey, why don't you come back and wrestle?" No, I'm in a good place right now. I'm okay with not being Kurt Angle the wrestler anymore. I'm just happy being who I am, and I think that's what people don't know how to just accept who they are and be happy with who they are.
So you're done then wrestling? Or will we be seeing you at the Royal Rumble?
I can't really say, but if I am, I'm okay with it.
If you're done, you're okay with it. But if you have one more in you, then that would be awesome for all of us. Let's put it this way. We would.
You know what? I would tell you this, Lilian. That's the only reason I'll do it. I will not do it for myself. I would do it for you and the fans out there.
Let me just.
It's no longer about me.
No, but let me tell you something. It would. You don't understand. The place would erupt. I mean, you don't get it how much you have affected people in this business. And people obviously outside this business now are getting to know you and your story and everything. And you're just a great human being. I love you. I adore you. I really want to see you again very soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you. If you're ever in LA, please, let me know. And let's have you in the studio. Okay. For sure, and let's really because
Lilian, I would love to. And listen, when you're done here, text me your number.
Okay, great.
Your producers have it.
Yeah, no, I will definitely do that because I want to stay in touch with you. You're a gem. You're a gem, Kurt, and good luck to everything that you're doing. I know that you've got a movie coming out soon, In the Ring. Yeah, so it's a comedy, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
I love comedies.
Yeah, me too.
The stuff we did together was awesome.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
Love you, Kurt. Thank you so much, and good luck to you with everything.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, I love you.
Okay, love you too, guys. Bye. Wow, there you have it, guys. That was incredible. I hope that you got out of it as much as I did. It's what a jewel of a person Kurt Angle is. And I just have to tell you, like, straight one-on-one, literally working with him was so incredible because, like I told you, not only was he just magical in the ring, but he was just magical human being that I hope that you guys someday get to meet him one-on-one and just at least, say hi and autograph signings or something because he's an incredible guy. For sure. Anyway, that's it for Making Their Way to the Ring for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Incredible journey that we've been taking here since we started the show. And I'm Lilian Garcia. You can find me at Lilian Garcia on Twitter and on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Lilian Garcia official fan page. I really want you guys to stay in touch with me. Let me know who you want to see on the show, for sure. Catch us on AfterBuzz TV, iTunes, or on YouTube. And for now, hey, like I always say, peace, love, and much, much passion. Mwah. See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek, Kevin Undergaro, Lilian Garcia, Mark Donica, associate producer James Frank, AfterBuzz Wrestling News correspondent Christy Olsen, and the entire Making Their Way to the Ring staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow Lilian on Twitter and Instagram at Lilian Garcia. This has been a presentation of the AfterBuzz TV Network. Buzz you later.